Good morning and welcome to Maisha Nordics, stories as we are. Today, we're going to talk to men, building the inner man. Women in this country and all over Scandinavia have support groups. If a woman falls into problems, depression, problems with work, they have friends to talk to, they have a network. What do women do? We keep it inside. We're men. You're an immigrant man. You came here to work, you gotta keep it inside and toughen it out. With me here today is Dan, and we're going to share with you some of the tipping points in our lives that have made us be where we are today. Hopefully, you can identify with it, learn from it, or simply go to the journey with us. Enjoy. Welcome to Maisha Nordics, and welcome, Dan.
Thanks a lot, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
And as you can see, man, we just came to relax, take the environment in, and reflect on the good things in life. Sometimes it's just good to take the break.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So tell me, Dan.
Yes.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah.
Loving it. Grateful. Yeah. It's yeah, I think that's what we want at the end of it all, to be grateful.
Talk to our people. Tell us who you are, how you came here, and a little bit about your background.
Okay. My name is Daniel. Most people call me Wangara, but my full name is Daniel Wamae Wangara, from Kenya. And I've been living in Finland for 10 years now. Originally from Isiolo, a place called Isiolo in Kenya. I was born and brought up in Isiolo. My mother, home, I can say what? Maternal home is in Nyeri, and yeah, so that's a little, and then so moved from Isiolo, and then after high school I went to Nairobi. After Nairobi, I moved to Dubai, and then from Dubai, I moved to Finland.
Wow.
That was my journey.
That's a nutshell of it.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit detail. How would you, looking back to your childhood, how do you say that the dynamics of you growing up, how did it shape you as a man, as the man you are today?
Well, big time.
Yeah.
And I think I had a rough childhood growing up, because I was exposed to a lot of adults around me, and more men. And so even when I got into company of my age mates, I preferred to be with the bad company because they seemed more mature. So I had a very rough growing up, which exposed me.
What do you mean by bad company?
Yeah. I mean, when I was in primary school, between class 1 and class 4, my parents, after I was born in Isiolo up to nursery school, from class 1 to class 4, I was in the village with my grandma. My dad took us there. Okay. And then so sooner or later, my friends, we were going to steal in the high school, because I used to lose my books and pens all day, and grandma, I used to be in trouble. I was like, so we had ideas like, okay, we can go to the high school when they go to church and steal some pens, and we take care of the problem. Okay. Of bothering grandma and getting whooped every day because of pen. I'm losing pens and books. So that's how I was already in a bad company. Okay. So my dad moved me back to Isiolo, where they were living. My parents were living. Okay. Because I needed to be washed. Otherwise, it wasn't gonna end. It was going downhill. Yeah, it was going downhill. Yeah. And I'm grateful. I lost most of my friends, childhood friends. They were shot dead. Yeah. You don't say. Yeah. They were shot dead. They became thugs, career time thugs, and so you can imagine. That was a turning point in my life, which I had not control over. So I went to Isiolo up to class 8, very cosmopolitan town.
Right.
You know, lots of culture, many culture, Borana, Somali, neighbors, Turkana, Meru, all this. So quite a, you know,
Cosmopolitan.
Cosmopolitan,
Yeah.
yeah. When you grow up in a cosmopolitan town, you get exposed not just to your own culture, you know, like if you grow up only in Nyeri, in one place, it's quite, you become very close-minded.
Yeah.
You just think
Absolutely.
about, you think everything in terms of your place, so.
And very comfortable.
Exactly,
I can imagine.
very comfortable and close-minded is bad. So, yeah, so you grew up in Isiolo. Yeah, so you can imagine growing up there, you're growing up as a soldier.
Yeah.
You know,
Basically.
it's a military training living there.
Yeah.
So it's good, you know, lots of challenges. What doesn't kill you
Makes you
only
stronger.
makes you stronger, you know. And yeah, my dad was a high school teacher in the same school I was studying. Finished high school, then we went to try, my dad took us to try farming, commercial farming. You know, here, you know, parents always have brilliant ideas like, hey, you know, when you're in school, it's like, I want you to be a scientist.
Yes.
And then we're done with school, it was like, no, I want us to go into business. And he took us into farming business somewhere in the Mount Kenya, Nanyuki area.
Yeah.
And we were there for 1 year, we tried it, it didn't work.
But the Nanyuki area is quite fertile?
Yes, it's right below Mount Kenya.
So it didn't work. It didn't work because
the season.
The season.
Yeah, the thing, our season that we grew our products, produce, it was low season.
Right.
So we didn't make money.
Right.
So we ran into losses and that's business.
So that venture.
Yeah, that venture and
tanked.
Yeah, tanked. It was a good learning, tough venture, but very a good experience.
Walk us a little bit further ahead. So you're done with primary school. You go to high school. Where did you go to high school?
Isiolo.
Okay.
Yeah.
You went back to Isiolo again. All right.
I was born, brought up primary Isiolo, high school Isiolo.
Okay.
After that, went back to Nyeri, home. My mom was living in the countryside. Studied a little bit computers, then moved to Nairobi. Okay. To study sales and marketing. Right. So first time, never lived in Nairobi before. Just used to come visit like once in 4 years. Yes. So as such a newbie, I was excited. You know, and the first thing you want to do is make friends, Nairobians, because you know they're the coolest people in Kenya. In Kenya. So well, it just happens that everywhere I go, the friends I make, you know, it took a little and I realized they're actually thugs. I don't know if I was attracted to thugs or it's just my vibe.
So this is happening again for the second time?
Yeah, even when we were doing the farming, commercial farming, we met guys there who were telling us, you know, we can, you know, steal some stuff. And so when I got to Nairobi and learned this, it was like an awakening moment. I was like, is this what young people do? Because, you know, me, I was the vibrant, joyful guy, you know, just want to have a good time, get some stuff to smoke, drink, girls, and chill. But I realized, oh, where the money comes from is you have to be crooked. Yeah. And I was like, okay. So I didn't want to be the coward one. So I was like, okay, I want to say, because now it's a trend. I realized it's a trend. So I was like, okay, I'll play along and see how this goes. Because then if this is it, then let's see.
What was the one moment, the one incident that made you realize that you cannot go this road, you cannot take this road anymore? Is there one vivid incident that became the tipping point for you?
Yeah, absolutely. My mom got me a job with an uncle of mine. Yes. Okay, he has a big company in Nairobi. Yes. He took me to his office. Yes. She took me to his office. And, you know, he has a big company, he was sitting in a big office, and you know, he was young, he was in his 40s, and man, it looked awesome. You know, I was like, you know, people do this, you know, he's my uncle, he's talking to me, he grew up also in Garissa, you know, and so I could relate. Yes. And he was telling my mom, actually had the same story, also similar to me. And I realized, I want to be like him. Yeah. I want to be like him. So I realized what I'm doing back there can not get me to be like him. So I found a role model. Right. That was the turning point. Right. You know, I was like, I want to be like this guy. Right. And because you could see, you know, what he's doing, successful, is, you know, executive office. I mean, he's my uncle. Yeah. So that was my that was the turning point. I knew, okay. And you know, he told me, listen, I'll give you a job, you get some money, you'll dress up, you know, you get your own place, you look nice, you go out, and by 4 years, your friend who went to high school at the same time, and he went to uni, will come and pass you.
Yes.
So you need to study. So as much as studying was not in my mind, so it was ringing at the back of my head. So when I'm back in the hood with the thugs and friends, you know, hustling for, you know, selling stolen stuff and stuff to, you know, rob and all kind of crazy stories. So, you know, so I knew this is not it. But I was like, I'll give it a shot until I see the end of it. Because I knew, I learned a lot of good lessons in it.
Yes.
Because one of the things you learn in the whole, you know, in that life, in the thug life, is that when shit happens, shit happens, you're on your own.
Yes.
I don't know you, you don't know me. And that's when I realized, like, oh, you know, because before I was such a friendly person, you know, open, and I was like, you know, telling everybody everything is like, I learned, okay, you need to keep your mouth shut. You didn't see it, you don't know it. And, you know, I learned these ropes, you know, it's like the stuff you see in the movies. But it helped me in my life.
Yes.
Because now I realize, okay, I'm on my own, actually.
Yes.
It's the reality. It's not just I think in the dark life, it's very clearly manifested.
Yes.
But outside there, you know, people pretend and all, you know. But there you realize you're on your own. So you mess up, you take care.
Yes.
You take care of your crap.
It's your own business.
Exactly.
When things are good, you're together.
Exactly. You have a good time, and yeah, you're still your own man. Things can go down anytime.
And when it goes down, you're on your own.
Exactly.
All right.
And that was one of the best lessons I think I ever learned in my life.
When all this was going on, were your parents aware, especially your dad?
I was living with my uncle.
Right.
Yeah, my uncle, you know, I was messing, you know, I was coming home late, you know, and I even sold some of my uncle's stuff, you know, because, you know, one time I was broke, he went to the countryside, and yeah, so when he came, and he knew my company, you know, even in the hood, you know, he could hear, and was like, you know, my dad came, he's like, this one cannot study. You know, it's like, yeah, his company is, it's a gone case. Yeah. It's a gone case. So my dad even tells me, he knew from high school, I had some criminal kind of mentality. Yeah. But he was like, maybe it works for him. For him, I don't know, but it was just a man. We'll figure it out. So he didn't bother. But he tells me later, he realized even in high school, the company I was keeping, he realized, this guy's got some. And anyway, since primary, when he moved me to the city. Yes. So yeah. So
you get a job with your uncle, and then the next thing you're in Dubai. How did that happen?
Yeah, so I realized, you know, the life I was living in the hood wasn't going to take me anywhere. So, and I was like, okay, I need a turning point. Yes. I need to turn this around, because when you get so much into it, you can't just walk out. Right. You know too much. You know too much. And if you just walk out, you might look like a snitch. Yes. So what you need to do is to disappear. Like you go in exile, so the thug think like, maybe he made a mess somewhere, he's gone hiding. He's probably dead. Exactly, absolutely, or in prison. Yes. It's like nobody cares, it's none of their business, you know. It's like, that's your life. So that's what, yeah, and I was like, yeah, man, I think, you know, I wasn't even having any more fun, you know, because I had everything I wanted, girls and money and getting high, and, you know, you get to that point, it's like, okay, so, is this it? Is this it, yes. You know? And I was like, okay, well, and I'm thinking, yeah, maybe it's a turning point. And if it's a turning point, then it might mean going back to church, going back to school. But at the moment, my dad had given up on me. I was taking me when I was studying sales and marketing. Because I was never in class, you know. I was busy doing sales and marketing of stolen and, you know, stolen stuff. You're actually applying the skills. Absolutely. You are in work practice. Exactly. So it's like, forget you, man. I'm not paying, I'm not wasting my money. You're doing your internship. Exactly. Yeah, in Nairobi. So, yeah, so so that's when I was saying, okay, God. So I thought like, okay, if that has to happen to go to church, then if that's God's plan, I was like, God, I'm so much into this mess. You better get me out of here.
But how is God coming into this? Is it that because you had you had this background of Christianity, or how did? Because from what I'm listening to is like, yes, you're seeing these role models, but there's a lot of pressure from this other dark side.
Yep.
What is pulling you? What is gravitating you towards God?
Yeah, because now I know if I have to turn, because these are two different worlds.
Yes.
You know, to become like my uncle, well, you have to change completely.
Yes.
So you cannot, you know, have your cake and eat it. I cannot be doing this because every world is demanding. You know, to be in the thug life, you've got to be there fully.
Yes.
You know, and to be in the, you know, the straight and narrow path, you've got to be there fully too.
Exactly.
So, and it's one of the things I learned in the thug life that, yeah, you've got to be in it. Because if you go for a mission, it's like, you've got to believe you can do this.
Yes.
It's a do or die thing.
Yes,
it's suicide. Exactly.
Yes.
So, and I realized, okay.
One mistake would cost you your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I learned, it's that important lesson I knew. If I'm out, I'm out. So if I'm all in, to the other side, I'm all in.
Right.
So that's why I think, so I knew it had to be a turning point. And definitely, I had to occupy my life with something else.
Yes.
You know, I was doing drugs and, you know, all kind of stuff. So I had to occupy that with spiritual life. You know, things that occupied me. Because if you leave a vacuum, well, even though I go to college, I'll find some other things to distract me from the mission. So that was kind of, I think the Spirit was talking to me. Or, of course, my mom was the whole life, you know. My family has been rocky, you know.
Yes.
And my mom was a housewife, and she was very spiritual. So she always prayed. We went to church since we were small. My grandma was Catholic, so we went to Catholic when we were with grandma. My mom has been to all kind of churches, Pentecostal. Lastly, she settled as an Adventist. So we went there. They have beautiful kids program. You know, we grew up at Pathfinders and,
right.
You know, being taught the word. Because now we would come with our, you know, Catholic teachings, and Mom would be like, "Oh, is it? Okay, let's read the Bible." And, you know, we would read the Bible and we'd be like, "Oh yeah, this is, you know."
Yes.
We started to think for ourselves, you know, to learn the Word of God, and from there on, then you get curious more because you're like, okay, somebody doesn't know something. And
so you had this background to get back to when things got a little bit rocky.
Yes.
When things got rocky, you had this foundation that
Yes.
was already made for you.
Yeah. It was like an introduction.
Yes.
It was an introduction because I hadn't made it myself.
Yes.
So it was an introduction.
Yes.
But I had never been fully, you know,
immersed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, committed, like,
yes.
you know, like the way I was in the thug life.
Yes.
Like, this is it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do this.
Yeah.
So I had an introduction, and I knew, okay, if what it says, you know, all the promises and the beauty, then I'll go into it also full, you know, it's the same way, commit, you know, with one heart, and then I see the end of it. I was like, I'll follow God to the end.
By the time you were going to Dubai, where were you? Were you still 1 foot in the thug life and 1 foot in spirituality, or you are still, or you are now, you had already left the thug life world?
Yeah, I had left. I had left completely. So what happened is my uncle decided to sponsor me.
Yes.
To go to college.
Yes.
And my auntie invited me to church.
Yes.
It was like, come to church, I'll be giving you bus fare, don't worry. And that was my turning point. I changed neighborhood because I was going to study in another neighborhood. So, and then I was going to church on Saturdays. So I had something to occupy me. You know, I had new friends from church now. I had youths, you know, they had, you know, good programs there. So my life changed, like in an instant. It was a miracle. It was a miracle.
Wow.
I credit it all to my mom's prayer. My mom was working with my aunt at that time.
Yes.
So I went full in, you know, with all my heart to church, you know, to serve, to seek God, and I enjoyed it. I was like, this is it. And you know, having the thug life mentality, like believing in yourself, I wasn't 50-50. I was like, this is my life.
Yes.
You know, the same mentality you had there, like, you're on your own.
Yes.
I was like, I'm in church and I know I'm on my own.
Yes.
So it's me and God.
Yes.
And I sought God, and I grew spiritually, and it was a beautiful journey. I reaped the fruits of going there with a one mind. And so later on, God opened the doors to go to Dubai.
Yes.
And that's how I got a job in Dubai.
Yeah.
And moved.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was time. I was feeling already like, Nairobi is becoming too small for me. I was all over hustling and, so I was like, yeah.
How did you end up in Finland?
So I was in Dubai in 2 years in a beautiful hotel, man. It's beautiful. It was a dream place.
Yes.
It's one of those, I used to dream like, when I'm successful, I'll be going such places. And then I found myself there. So it's an answered prayer. So I spent 2 years, and then I still had a dream to pursue education.
Yes.
The one my uncle told me.
Yes.
Because if I still had a dream to become like him.
Yes.
So I was not yet like him.
Yes.
So I knew I had to study more.
Yes.
Because he had studied, of course, and I knew education. Yeah, it's the key. It's the knowledge opens the doors of everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I had still that dream.
Yeah.
I want to pursue further education. So I kept the dream alive. The money in Dubai wasn't enough for me to sponsor myself.
Yes.
And I had siblings also. I needed to support my parents with my siblings.
Yes.
So when I went to Dubai, I realized if I have to realize this dream, there's all kind of attractions to in Dubai.
Tell me about it. I have visited.
There was and it's on another level now because it's like it's right here. You can just decide to live freely.
And you're on your own.
And you're on your own.
Yeah.
And I was like, so God is giving me another test. He's taking me to another level, giving me greater temptations. It's like, so are you gonna stay faithful? Or if you want your dream, or are you gonna, this is it. You can have it.
Yeah.
So I knew. I'm like, no, if he's brought me this far, I'm staying with you. Yeah, I'm gonna ride with you, do or die. So I stayed faithful, served in church, kept to myself a lot, kept working on myself and, discipline, a lot of discipline. And there was an opportunity to go visit Finland. It was a camporee.
Yeah.
So I went to Finland and I came here and I learned, you can study here for free. And I was like, what? This was an answered prayer.
Yes.
I've been praying for this all the time. So I had to find out how can I stay here.
Yeah.
So I looked at the options. You could either get a school,
Yes.
get a job, family ties, or seek asylum.
Yes.
So I decided to seek asylum.
Okay.
Because at that time it was post-election violence in Kenya.
Yes.
The situation was not very stable.
Volatile.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I felt like my life wouldn't be able to continue.
Yes.
So I sought it's not humanitarian, but the fact that my life wasn't conducive there.
Yes.
So it's a legal process.
Yes.
You apply.
Yes.
If you're granted, you granted. If you're not, you appeal. If you're not, you go back home.
Okay.
It's a very legal process. It doesn't matter what you can apply on any ground.
Yes.
As they decide.
Yes.
You don't make the decision.
Yes.
And that's why most people are stigmatized, like your supply said. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
If you don't feel like comfortable at home, you apply for it.
Of course.
It's a legal process.
Legal process and
they decide. They make the decision.
Yeah.
You don't make it.
Yeah.
And if they find it's good, then it's good.
All right.
So that's what I did. I applied for asylum because the post-election violence situation there with the Mongiki and police and everything. So, I didn't get it.
Okay.
But then I was able to apply. They tell you either give them another reason to stay here. So I applied for school.
Yes.
So I found school. I got a work permit after 3 months. So I applied for a student visa.
Okay.
So, and that was fine. It's totally legal.
Yes.
So I was granted a student visa, and I lived in Finland for the last 10 years.
So, very interesting story, and thank you for walking us through that.
Yeah, thanks.
And going through these challenges and looking at your uncle and looking at him as that beacon that you want to follow, the northern light, if I may. What would you tell other young men who are growing up in this situation, especially back in our countries,
Yeah.
where you have to make this decision on your own as a man. There are no role models. You had a role model in the sense that you had an uncle, and you had to make that choice by yourself. Like, I want to be like this guy. You know?
Yeah.
And then do everything that you could and change whatever you had to change in your life to be like him. Not so many people have the opportunity.
True.
What carries them? What gives?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And I think because what made me want to be like him, you know, when you're in a thug life, I had ambitions too.
Yes.
Okay? So you have ambitions, you know. There are ladders to climb even in the dark world.
Yes.
So hierarchy. There's hierarchies of competency.
Yes.
The badder you are, the higher you climb. You know, but in the other world, so...
The more vicious.
Exactly. So what he looked like, you know, the one who's up there. So it didn't matter which ladder you used to climb. He looked like...
You just needed to get to that,
Exactly.
Yes.
So, and I think a lot of young men, all of us, that's what happened. It doesn't matter, you know, even my friends who got shot, we're all trying to, you know, to increase our competence.
Yes.
You know, to climb the ladder of competence.
Yes.
Because that's what makes us useful to ourselves, to our parents, you know, to the community around us.
Right.
So I think if we just keep working on ourselves, and also there's a higher power that listens to us.
What do you think that as men in this country, what is our hill? What is our mission? What are we fighting? What are we trying to achieve, and are we achieving it right? And what do we need to do as immigrant men in this country?
I think our biggest hill is finding ourselves. Finding ourselves, because when you find yourself as a man, you know, and your purpose, I can say, which for me is knowing God, you know, and knowing my capacity and, you know, good and evil, knowing all that,
yes.
And to be able to tame my beast is our biggest challenge, okay? Because then I can focus on my mission. I can know, I'm fully equipped. I'm fully equipped for the mission. So that's knowing yourself. I am a total human being able to achieve anything. Then once you know that, then the next thing is to know your mission. Why are you here then? Because then if you're equipped and you don't know your mission, you're going to be destructive.
Yeah.
You're going to start cutting trees and, you know, all the wrong places. But when you know your mission, then you're on the right track. Then, you know, whatever the struggles, the uphills, the falls, they're all a lesson. Because you take responsibility
yes.
of your mistakes
yes.
and your downfalls.
Yes.
So they don't stop you. You learn from them and you keep going, because it's happening to everybody.
Yes.
Everybody's going through that, and you can help those who don't know themselves to know themselves also, to find their mission, and we all, it's life, it's the journey of life, and then the journey is meaningful.
Yes.
And we find meaning in
purpose.
And in the suffering,
yes.
in all this suffering, you know, in the world. Then we find meaning in our sad moments, in our, you know, all the emotions we go
and allowing ourselves to feel the emotions.
Absolutely. Then they direct us.
Because it should be okay for men
absolutely
to laugh, cry.
I mean, yeah.
Celebrate.
Absolutely. We've been given, we have it.
We've turned ourselves into working machines.
Yeah.
I'm the provider, so I have to break my back.
Sadly.
So that I'm identified as a man.
Yeah. We have been sold the wrong doctrine.
Yes.
We've been sold the wrong recipe.
We've been dealt the bad cards.
Yep. Exactly.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Maisha Nordics continue to bring these topics, and if there is anything that you think that we should discuss, or you feel that you have a story that we should sit down with you, please don't hesitate to contact us on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on our YouTube channels. Thank you so much, Dan.
Thanks, bro.
What are we gonna do now? Hit the water?
Well, yeah.
Yeah?
Absolutely. Maybe grill?
I wanna hit the water first.
All right.
Let's feel it.
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Yep.
All right.